Gail, I'm back. I finally glued Boba Fett's joints up using super glue. I used plasticine for the joints, and yes, I know what you're thinking, plasticine, but trust me, it works brilliantly with this, especially if you're doing a diorama where you will be covering it with tissue paper. Okay, 3 reasons I do use plasticine on my statue dioramas is 1, it's cheap, 2, it's easy to mold in, and 3, it actually expands and shrinks with the weather. Okay, so it is brilliant for this type of work. Now, what I've done, I've covered it with super glue as well, just to make it that bit more rigid, but the plasticine underneath that will be still durable, so like I said, it can shrink and stretch with the weather. Okay, so as you can see on the right hand side of the screen, I've got some watered down PVA glue. Just brush it onto your figure. Alright, just get some tissue, stick it in place at the start. Then what you do, you just get some watered down PVA glue and you start brushing it over. When you're brushing it, brush it towards the way the cloth would go. Okay, so just gently do it, and don't worry about it if you get creases and all that in it. It just gives it more realism. Okay, so for example, so I really need a new camera. So for example, guys, I'll see if you can see that where the pocket is, just underneath the pocket there, you can actually see the little bits of seams. Don't worry about that, it'll just add realism. Okay, so it does take a bit of practice to do this, because if you use too much watered down PVA glue, it will rip the tissue. Alright, but if you do, you can just go over it. There's no biggie that way. Okay, so what you do then, grab your brush, water the next section, grab tissue. Now it doesn't matter if you overlap either, because you will not see the overlap seams. Okay, now I usually use a 3-ply tissue, because you're guaranteed 1 ply is going to come off and it'll leave 2, and that will be plenty. The thicker the outfit too, the more you want to apply. So usually once this dries, another layer will do, but realistically I've only used 1 layer, or sorry, 2 plies, but 1 adhering to the cloth, to the figure. Alright, now this can take up to like 20 minutes depending what you're doing. Now it will take, once you've finally finished it, it will take about 24 hours for the tissue to dry properly. And then the good thing about that as well is that you'll be able to see little errors that you've done, so you can go over them. Alright. So of course I'm going to be adding straps and all. Doesn't matter about if you go over them. The tissue will actually just mold to it, so you won't lose them. You know where they are. If you do need two coats of the tissue, it's usually at the crotch area. Excuse me. So yeah. Now the next diorama I'll be doing after this one is my Jakku desert battle. I've started a part shuttle that a lot of guys have seen, especially the guys on my Facebook page at Imperial Shipyards and the Bandai Star Wars forum page. I'm going to restart that. I picked up all my extra material I needed, so I've covered the partial shuttle in cardboard, then I'll go over it in plastic card. So I'll start that hopefully over the weekend. So you just dab it down. Now when you get to the little pockets down in the pants and you've got the little tool area there, don't worry about it. If you need to, you can just rip off smaller layers of tissue and just go around it. Okay, with the pants, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring it down so it comes around at the bottom, so it covers the foot section and the boot. Again, don't worry if it's not going to go where you want it to straight away. You can just move it because it doesn't dry straight away, and you can just play with it. But like I said before, if it's got little areas where it's got extra seams, don't worry about it. It just adds to the realism, okay? And not only that too, when you start painting it, it will absorb the paint and it will soften up a bit more. And when you do that, you can actually get a toothpick and just mold it with a toothpick if you have to, but I don't worry about it. So what I'll show you the boot, how I'm going to do the boot part. So just grab it, probably around near the ankle, just above the ankle. Water it down. Now you don't want to go too much water on the ankle because it will just fill up the gap I've got there. Okay. Now one thing you do have to be careful of, oh, out of shot again, sorry guys, I've got to get used to that. One thing you do have to be careful of when you're doing this is that you don't grab the wet tissue where you've already done, because you'll just pull it, you will pull it off. Okay. So there it is there, and as you can see that part there's the bottom part's dry, so I'll leave that alone, and then when I paint over it it'll come up really well. So now I need a little couple of pieces, so get a pair of scissors, cut what you need off. Okay, just wet that area and just put it on there. Just make sure when you're doing the bottom of the pants you line it up with the rest of the tissue you've already done. Okay. Now another thing about this is that when you do it, the armour will still go on. Okay. So you've got no worries of that. And I do apologise, I've just got my paintbrush in my mouth while I move this, if I am talking funny. Okay, like that, there you are. So just get with us. And you can actually start dabbing around the bottom of the pants section where the cuff comes in. There you go. And that will look brilliant when it's painted. Now I've got that little bit where the pocket is with the little tools in it. So cut up a couple of small pieces. Again, you don't have to worry about these are accurate or not, because you can grab a toothpick and adjust it around the pocket area. I hope you guys are enjoying the videos as well. I tend to do a lot more, but as I said, if you've got anything you want me to do, let me know. And as I have mentioned before, I'm not the fantastic and greatest modeler going. There are people way better than me, but this is just the way I do it. I like to think outside the box when I'm doing models, and it doesn't hurt to try new things. Oh, I also apologise too if I do talk a lot while I'm doing it. I find it rude while I'm doing it and not talking. Okay, and I do apologise if I am just gas bagging, but yeah, I think it's very rude when you're doing something, you're not actually talking. So how was the weather anyway? Alright, so just inside here, I've got that single tool there and the two tools there. Got that little area, so just grab a real tiny bit. Excuse me. Just grab a toothpick. Just grab it. Just push it over so it's not covering it. If you do forget to do it, just go over it when you paint it. Like I said, it won't be soft like it is now because of the glue and everything, but when you do paint it, it will become a bit more flexible, so you can move around the tissue a little bit, not too much. Okay, just remember it is glued in place. So do that big bit there. Okay, this is really looking good now. Okay, here's a prime example I was talking about. Just in here, you can see the creases the tissue's paper made. Leave it alone, it's perfect. Okay, especially for when you're doing cloth. It really does give it that realistic look to it. So, you know, like Boba Fett's clothing wasn't really tight on him, so it was a little bit baggy. So he's going to be going to have creases in that in his overalls, if you want to call them that. Okay, as you can see, I've gone over the area where the cod piece is going to be. That's fine. Like I said, it doesn't matter. Okay, because it will still fit in. Also too, while I do think of it, I've had a lot of requests for the how do I do the cloth for the joints on my sand troopers and stormtroopers. The diorama I was talking about earlier, that is actually going to have stormtroopers and that in it, so I will do a tutorial on how I do it. So don't worry guys, I won't miss you out. I will do it, I promise. Okay. Alright, so get that level if I can. I'll just have to dab that actually to get it straight. Okay, just push it up. I'm going to move it now. And as you can see, the part of it come up, so hopefully we can drag that down. If not, again, no, there you go, done it. If you couldn't, just grab another bit of tissue, small piece, and go over it. It'll work out perfectly. Now you've got little areas like in there, you don't have to have big pieces. Just grab a piece like I've just done there, fold it over, and just put it in there, and I'll cover all that up. Okay, cut some more up. Usually the bigger the better, because you don't have to do multiple little areas, and the big patches will work out great. Excuse me. Little piece. Okay, I need a little bit more water. Okay, I'll have this done in about another 10 minutes hopefully. Then you can stop listening to me talk. Oh, big piece. There. So as you can see, it is a lot easier. It does take time. It is easy to do, and it does come up with great effects at the end. I've already done a Boba Fett doing this method, so if you scroll through my Facebook page, you've got a Boba Fett there just on a plain white base. I've done it on him. I've done it on Luke Skywalker on Bespin. So yeah, I've done a few. So it looks good. Now, if you don't want to do this, say for example you do this and you don't like it, and you think, oh crap, it looks like shit, you can pull it off. Okay, it's not going to wreck the figure at all. Even this being a plastic figure, it's not going to wreck it. Okay, and you can start again, or you can just paint over it. But you will have to get rid of the plasticine if you do want to paint over it, because the plasticine isn't the best for sculpting that way. It's brilliant for this, but not for just going over the sculpting stuff. Okay. But the only problem then you'll have is that he won't be articulated, or the figure itself won't be articulated again, sorry. So that's the downfall of doing this, because you can't have this articulated and having the tissue. I'm trying to work it out where I can use cloth and on something like Boba Fett. I'm not a great sewer, so I like to use material glue for a lot of my stuff. So I always try and find new ways to do clothing and all. And I thought the dried wet ones I used, like for Obi-Wan Kenobi's robes, would work for a moving figure, but yeah, it won't. So I'll keep trying, and if I do find something, I'll let you guys know. For me personally, there's nothing worse than seeing joints on figures, especially if you want to really have a good display with them or a good base. The feet to me aren't that bad of a thing, but yeah, if I can cover them like I have with this, it's great. But yeah, it's not for me. I suppose that's the old modeler coming out in me, doing a lot of old dioramas. So yeah, one big clump there. Now, excuse me. Now with this part, because you've got his section here that's separated, I don't putty that up because it's almost like an extra piece because of the armor. Okay, so just glue it down. Then go under it and just push it up. Like so you can't see it. So that's what it looks like. I still got to do this section in here, but yeah, that's what it looks like. So it looks like it's I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure his chest plate and that are a separate section to his overalls, but I could be wrong. Oh, by the way guys, yeah, if you do want me to do a tutorial on something, don't ask me to sculpt because I can't sculpt for crap. I can do beards, hair, an ear, nose, that sort of thing, but other than that, yeah, I can't sculpt for anything. Dayton Allen, Sapphire guys, sorry about that, the camera ran out of time. As I was saying, yeah, for sculpting, Dayton Allen, aka Sapphire 30, does brilliant work, and anyone that does customizing will know who he is, and he's a good friend. So yeah, check his pictures and all out. Okay, extremely talented, and he's great for answering questions as well. Okay, so yeah, but don't ask me to sculpt. As I said, I can't sculpt for shit. Nearly finished this one, so now just the lower part of the waist. So just cut off some thin pieces. And lucky last is the neck part. Lucky last piece. Okay guys, there you have it. One tissue covered Boba Fett. Alright, just go over it, have a look, make sure you haven't missed any. Yep, like I have. Just a little bit. So I'll just use this big piece. Okay, next up will be the, I'll paint this, then we'll put it aside and let it dry for another 24 hours, and I'll start doing all the armour. Okay, while it is drying, the paint will dry quick, so that's not it. You can start actually touching it, so I can do the armour and that, and then I can dry brush the uniform. Okay though, guys, sorry, that's it. He's all done. Okay, and as you can see, he's all white. Now this will almost go clear, so you'll be able to actually see the plastic and that underneath it. Okay, so until tomorrow, I'll get another video up for you tomorrow. Until then, talk to you later. Have a good day. Bye.